First of all, we had a pretty extensive search that took place a year ago, and the opportunity to hire the best is what Joe Oliva has given us. I want to thank Dean Dingman, this tireless number of hours in assisting me in reviewing candidates. But most of our work was done last year, and we interviewed a number of guys, and the absolute star was this Dave Aranda. And having run through and see his defense firsthand, I could virtually off of the game's experience tell him, you know, what his defense was like to go against. We're fortunate to finish on top in the one match that we had with him, but that defense was the toughest defense for us to scheme and to go against on the year. So he's when you check his credentials, you find out that he started coaching as a player and really has done nothing but live and sleep football for his time. So there's no surprise that his defenses are nationally ranked year in and year out, and we look forward to adding him and his skills to our staff, and we feel like it gives us a great edge on defense. The LSU new defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda.
Well, I'm blessed and I'm humbled. You know, it's always been a goal of mine to coach in this league and to be coaching for Coach Miles, who I have so much respect for, and want to say thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited about the future. I wanted to take a minute and say thank you to Gary Anderson, thank you to Paul Christ, thank you to Barry Alvarez, thank you to the players on defense at Wisconsin. Really the main focus of whatever success that I was a part of, they were the main component there. Without them, I wouldn't have this opportunity. I'm excited about what the future brings here. I'm excited to work with the great coaching staff that's assembled here. I'm looking forward to getting to know them and work together. Always believed that a defense is putting your best players in the best spots to make plays. And so this is the very early stages of identifying who those players are, what they do well, what we can improve on. Same with the coaches, right? Identifying those strengths, letting them do those strengths well. And so it's an exciting time. I'm excited to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, and ready to get going on it. But that's really what I had. If there's any questions, I'll take it.
If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a mic over to you, please. Dave, straight up the middle. Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV here in Baton Rouge. What would be a calling card or something that you would like to hang your hat on, a defensive style? I know you're variable, but you know, what would people look at a defense at yours and say, that's him?
Smart aggression. I think you want to be aggressive on defense. You want to play with an offensive mindset, but you want to be able to do it in a way that's intelligent. You want to try to flip the math as best you can, but keep the big plays to a minimum. And so I think the details of your answer is to find your best players, get them matched up on their worst players, and do it over and over and over again.
To your left, Coach Matt Moscona, ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge. When did Coach Miles offer you the job, and how long did it take you to decide that you were going to accept?
Yeah, all of it was a whirlwind. I mean, it happened right after our bowl game, and I was very excited about the offer. I was able to spend some time with the family on a drive back from San Diego to my hometown, and we were able to talk about it. It was very excited to make the decision to be a part of this place and coach for Coach Miles.
Coach Matt Roberts, WVLA TV. How much of a draw was it coming here to LSU to run your defense with some of the athletes that are already in place here at LSU?
Very much so. I've always looked at this conference as an elite conference. I look at this school and I see the skill level of the players. I see the intelligence of the players. I know they have great football smarts. I know they've been coached well. So I'm really excited to be able to try to get them in mismatches. I think so much of it is trying to match up guys. You know, if you take a defensive lineman and you get him in a spot to where he can win one-on-one, or you get a linebacker in a spot where he can win one-on-one, I'm excited to find those one-on-ones and use our guys.
Miles mentioned last year that you were a star of the search. How close did you get last year to taking the job?
Oh, I don't even know. You know, it was great in talking with Coach Miles. I was awfully impressed with him and obviously impressed with LSU. I'm happy that I'm here now and that I could be able to get to work with him now, you know. I'm looking forward to getting going. Was able to watch some film this morning, and so I kind of feel like a coach again after all of it, ready to feel a little bit more like that.
Hey, Dave, here in the back. Chris Price, WBRZ Television here in Baton Rouge. I'm not sure how much you've been able to follow SEC offenses, you know, while you're in the Big Ten. I wonder, just from your observations, what you see as how things are changing on offenses in the SEC.
Right.
Is it the same as what's been in the Big Ten? Do you always follow on defense, or is there any way to ever get ahead of that curve?
No, you try. That's a really good question. I think you study as much film as you can from all different types of leagues, whether it's high school, college for sure. You look at professional ranks. I think it's important. That film study is important because you want to be able to know what people are doing now and having success, what answers there are to what people are doing now. But you also want to be able to, like you mentioned, see what's coming around the corner. You want to be ready for that as best you can. I think film study and sitting down and grinding at it is the best way. But have watched a bunch of SEC film. I know there's everything from 2-back and 3-backs and power O and lead plays and isolation plays to the spread you out. Guys are on the numbers and spread out in between. And so you're excited about that. I know I am. I'm ready to attack it. You wouldn't expect anything less.
Back on the left, Coach. With the rest of the defensive staff already in place, if you would maybe just explain how you go about trying to bring them up to speed with what you want to do and how you all begin to interact.
Well, I think it's very much about the best ideas, the best players. I think I've always saw myself as a conduit that way. What you want to be able to do is take the best ideas that come out of that room, no matter who ideas they are. I know that I'll have ideas, and I imagine that all the other coaches in there will too. And so what fits best for LSU, that's what we'll do. Same goes with the players. And so if there's certain players that are best being in a certain spot, let's be able to get to that place as soon as possible, and let's get them working there. And so it is not, or it has not been about, this is what the book says, this is what we need to do, this is what we've done the last 3 years. It's what's the best for this place.
Coach on the left, the previous two coordinators, were both linebackers coaches. And Chavis recruited, I guess, to a 4-3 with smaller, faster linebackers, and Steele recruited a lot of bigger, bulkier guys that are committed now.
Right.
If you were picky, what type of linebackers are you looking for?
Instinctive, tough playmakers. I think you want to be able to recruit linebackers that in a one-on-one spot will make plays. You'd want to be able to try to get them matched up on running backs in pass protection. So much of it is, would you rather blitz a back as opposed to cover a back? You know, if you're blitzing him, he's going to stay in a lot of times. So you can attack the protection, plus you can not defend all the possible guys that are eligible. And so that's a component. And the flip of that is you want someone when there are 2 backs and they run power at you, they can draw a line in the sand and come off blocks and make plays. And so You'd want someone that's instinctive, someone that's tough, and someone that's a playmaker.
Hey, Coach, Jacques Doucet, WAFB-TV here in Baton Rouge. Have you glanced at the LSU roster, what you're about to be working with? Do you have any thoughts on the talent you'll be having? And then what role will you play maybe talking to juniors who may be thinking about going to the NFL?
Right. Just started that this morning, so I was awfully excited about getting up and getting into the office there to watch some tape. Looked at a couple games, and so very excited about the back end and the depth and the speed there and the ability moving forward to play man coverage and to dictate terms on people. And then excited about the front. I think there's an abundance of pass rushers, and we're surely going to put them in position to pass rush. And then I think there's some talent at linebacker that we can exploit as well. But I think, you know, moving forward with the juniors, that's something that I know that I'm excited about. I've already made a couple overtures there. I'm going to continue to do that. I think that's a big part of where we're at right now.
Coach, right here to your right, a couple questions. Number one, are you going to coach a position, or are you going to be a walk-around DC? And secondly, I know that in your 3 years at Wisconsin, you went against Auburn, South Carolina, Alabama, besides LSU. What stood out about the talent on those 4 SEC teams?
Right. Still talking to Coach Miles about how that goes. I know I've had experience with linebackers, but had experience with other position groups as well. I have been a stand-around guy as well, too. But, you know, when I look at SEC offenses, I'm obviously, you know, you're impressed with the skill set that they bring. You're impressed with their coaching abilities and the ability to react and respond to whatever you're doing on defense. It takes a series or two, and they've made an adjustment, and they're back up on it. And so I feel I'm at a great level. And it's a great position. Like I say, I'm blessed. I'm honored to be here. Looking forward to giving it my best shot.
Dave, if you would, you know, just spending the last 15 minutes with you. I mean, my take on you, I guess, is measured, thoughtful. How would you describe yourselves, and why coaching? I understand the injury portion of your career, but why coaching, and why have you stuck with it so long?
That's a good question. You know, coaching kind of came upon because I was out of a bunch of other things. I think in high school, wasn't that great of a student. Tried to enlist in the Navy and was not able to get into the Navy with those injuries. And I was a high school coach. Jim Walker back in Redlands High School came and kind of saved me and got me coaching JV football. I was a wing tee pulling guard in high school, so I was teaching the guard to kick out a 5 technique and everything, going to junior college. And so it kind of started from there. Once you're into coaching, man, you just love being a part of a team. There's nothing better than having a bunch of guys that are all on the same page, that have all blood, sweat, and tears and put it out there. It's one thing to kind of hold it back. It's another thing to put it completely out there and have a bunch of guys do that together and to walk out of a tunnel, whatever it is, and go get someone else. That's exciting, man. So you want to be a part of that as much as you can.
Coach, down here on the left, Billy Gamilla, SB Nation. Aside from obviously your interview last year, are there any previous connections with members of the staff, guys you'd worked with before or been in the same circle with?
When I was coming up, when I was coaching at Cal Lutheran, I used to go visit USC. Coach Ogeron was there. We talked about get off and pass rush and that. When I was at Houston, I was a linebacker coach there. Coach Pivotal was just leaving. And so had a couple talks with him, was awfully impressed with him and the recruiting that he had done. When I was at Utah State, we played a lot of man coverage, blitzed a lot of people, had some success. We were able to do that. A lot of the DBs that Coach Raymond recruited, I think 3 of the 4 are in the NFL right now at Utah State. And so the people that I work with there at Utah State all worked with him previously and spoke the world of him. So those have been the associations so far.
Back on the left, Coach. On game days, do you have a preference coaching on the sideline or in the press box? And if so, why? Why do you prefer?
It's whatever fits best for the staff. I've been both up and down. The past couple of years I've been down, but it's per those staffs, that was the best fit. Previously, it was always up. And so I think it's the same thing. You try to be able to use your staff as best you can. And so if you're up, obviously the view's better. It's a little bit calmer. You get to see all 22. If you're down, you're able to feel the energy of your players a little bit more and look them in the eye and see what's what. And you got someone up top that can see all 22 and help you with the things you can't see. And so those are things I think we have not gotten to yet, but we will.
Dave, you mentioned you met with some underclassmen. What was their reception to you? How did those meetings go?
Those are happening right now. They have not happened. I'm looking forward to getting that going.
Dave's got time for one more. Ed, you got the last one. Coach, can you talk about the complexities of teaching a system but still allowing players to play freely?
Right.
And how do you balance that, especially with the 20-hour rule and all of that stuff going on?
That's a really good question. I think so much of football is playing with a clear mind. And I think the less checks you have, the less double calls you have, meaning versus this, we're playing, if it's pro, we're playing this. If it's slot, we're playing this. The less empty checks you have, the more play it's rather. It's this call, this is what it is, and no matter what they line up in, it's what we're playing. And then that combined with, in the past, we've been a field defense. So we get guys aligned to the field, get guys aligned to the boundary. It's been very simple, and I think that's been key because it allows guys to play fast. Within that structure, you're talking about how now everyone has a job, everyone has a 1/11th they have to do. And I think that 1/11th is easier to comprehend and easier to complete when it's simpler on the front end. When I'm lined up here, this is whatever happens back there doesn't affect me, and I can play. And so that's what it's been, whether it's been at Hawaii, at Utah State, at Wisconsin. And we're obviously looking at that here, so I'm excited moving forward.